So, I assume we're live now?
Bonjour, hello from wherever you are. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening.
Well, it's Michael Chuse and David Jankowski for the fifth and sixth and final rounds of the Lotus Evora Teams Championship at Zandvoort. 9 times on the board, 11 in present, and many more to come. 23 sign-ups, but not many people have been turning up. So, the final 10 minutes of practice, hopefully people will start spilling in towards the start of qualifying.
Yeah, we don't see any spinning on a live race.
A few mishaps. The last 2 times we were at Zandvoort for different championships, in particular F4 and Super GT and DTM 92. Those were a bit chaotic. There was always some kind of monster collision. Like, think of it as the Daytona big one, but road racing.
That's why I'm not a fan of that's why I'm not a big fan of Zandvoort.
Yeah, Zandvoort can get messy amongst this community.
Yeah.
But 9 minutes to go, and we've got 10 people in the standings so far. So, on the timing boards, we have for Germany Tobias Thierolf.
He can be quite good.
Yeah, Tobias Thierolf is a very fast driver. We haven't seen much of him, but he's appeared today, and he's going to drive very well. It seems has set a benchmark of 1 minute 47.0.
So according to our sources, we heard he's a very elite driver.
Yeah, semi-pro this one for Germany. Next up in second place, Andy Darnell has set almost 1 second off the benchmark time of 1:47, 1:48.
And you're your boss, indeed. So we'll call him the boss man.
Yep, and Andy Darnell is the event organizer for PetrolHead, so it's nice to hear.
And the founder.
Yeah, absolutely. He's the boss of everything, anyway.
Oh yeah, he's the boss. He is the boss. That's why I'll call him the boss man.
So anyway, he's on the pace today, for at least a podium. He's on the pace relatively well with Fotis Isoglu in third place. Fotis is 4/10 off of Andy Darnell's time. And his teammate Lotus Evora is in 4th place with 1/10 behind him. Arthur Gra is almost tying with Soteris for 4th and 5th. They're head-to-head, basically. And that's your top 5 for now. Let me tell you, wait until I tell you about the team's championship, because things are getting spicy going into the last
They are. It's like you getting some hot pepper in your mouth.
So David, anything you'd like to say before I get this data up?
No, not at all. You just say what you need to say.
So anyway, of course there's individual driver standings, but that doesn't mean much because this is a team's championship. Both of you need to pull your own weights. You need to pull your teammates and your own weight in order to get any success in this championship. So I'll be listing off the teams who are in contention for the title at the minute. So, and first, going into the final rounds, 5 and 6 at Zandvoort, Inspired Yorkshire Racing, Team A, is in first place with 109 points. GRC, the Greek division of Soteris Moraitis and Fotis Isoglu, are in it with 92 points. And PetrolHead SimRacing Z division is in it with third with 89 points. And those are our 3 title contenders for today, and with a chance for a VRP prize. I have to check how many.
It was 800.
Maybe you could check that for me, David.
Well, I'm still playing this game here. I'm still in that match.
All right. You might not be hearing from David in a second because He's in the middle of a game in Fortnite at the minute, so...
Yeah. So I can't multitask at the same time.
Alright, so I'll leave you to it, and...
Yes. I'll try and watch as much as I can without getting killed in the game.
So back to the leaderboards, eh? It's not Sotrus, Samuel Oliveira, Andy Darnell's teammate, is in third place now. He's set his first flying lap at the session. He's around 2/10 off the pace of Andy Darnell, but as teammates, I'm sure they can help each other. Yes, Tobias in the team's championship. Fotis Isoglu and Sotiris Moraitis, the two Greeks in 4th and 5th at the minute. They're on a team and they're next in line for the title. So if they, like, Tobias Tyrrell might be the race winner today, but he's going to need, he's not in it for the title. So it won't matter where he finishes. He won't influence the title decider a bit too much. So if GRC, aka the two Greeks in 3rd and 4th, no, 4th and 5th actually, if they want to beat Andy Darnell and Samuel Oliveira, they're going to have to finish ahead of him, and they're also going to have to finish ahead of Lorenzo Adami and Arthur Gra.
Adami was one of the last Suzuka's race winners, if I'm correct.
Yeah, Lorenzo Adami, because of the lack of people that turned up, he dominated the last race of Suzuka.
He did.
So, if GRC wants any chance at the title, they're going to have to beat... they have to put out their A game against Inspired Yorkshire's A team and best them for both rounds of today if they want to have a good shot at the title.
They do.
10 times on the board. No, 11 times.
Sorry. It's 11.
11 times on the board and 12 on the session. Nikola Chima has joined. He's been a regular in the series recently.
He has been a big regular.
We see a lot of him in the DTM 92 series that just concluded a few weeks ago. Another thing about Mikola Volinets, he's driving the second Choose Auto Racing car. It's actually my team. I'm supposed to be there accompanying him for the race, but my wheel's broken, so...
Yes, unfortunately. Just bad luck.
I couldn't figure out how to work a controller for racing in time, so... that's what's stopping me from racing, but I'm commentating here tonight, so that's something. In the past, Mikola has had a few internet connection issues, and like halfway through the first race, if you remember at Hockenheim, if you've been watching for a while, Mikola hasn't had the best of luck with his connection. So maybe he'll be able to salvage a few points today. Sorry, Mikola, I couldn't be there to help you out.
But he's down to his on his own. And he's got to try and do it for his team.
So anyway, I'd like to address something with all of you that are watching this so far with a minute and 20 to go in practice. Throughout these three race meetings, we have figured out a few things about the Lotus Evora GT4, and like some love it with a passion now, some people hate it with a passion now. It's a very unique car to drive.
It is. It's a beauty.
For me, it's a code word for it's a terrible car that should never be which is why I bought the Audi R8 GT4 for anything like this ever again.
I want the Audi R8 GT3 NMS.
Yeah, the GT3 is a little bit like
Hard.
the GT4 is good, but like it feels like you're still driving on stop signs in the GT3. Some people are able to figure it out.
Points.
Like I wanted to like the R8 GT3, but
And just finished this game on 4. I just came second because I died to Storm.
Adami is now in 4th position. He's set
Now I
his
can
first
watch.
Yeah.
And Michael, I can't see a stream, so I'm having to watch the YouTube stream. Is it possible if you can share your screen?
Of course. Just a sec.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Can you see that all right?
Yeah, but we're out to go to join that stream now. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, would you like me to share my full screen so you can see my R3 reality?
No, I like it how it is.
Alright, good.
Just starting qualifying now, and he makes his way out. It's the first car. No, it's not. Elias straight out. On number 64, that is.
The 11th Tobias Theorolf is a rare livery around here, but looks like set to dominate.
He is. Especially on this last round of the Lotus Evora GT4 Championship.
We haven't seen him much, but he seems to be on the pace this week.
He does. Massively.
Because of Tobias's absence for most of the championship, he won't be doing much for his Tugas Racing teammate.
Yeah.
The other 11 car, he sorted it out actually, where teammates are using the same livery, so you can identify which cars are teammates.
Yeah.
So not going to be so much racing yet. We're still going to be having a little bit of a... people are still on their out laps with 13 minutes to go on the clock. But we'll start seeing a qualifying field start to form in the next few minutes, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
We saw 147 dead almost from Tobias Theorolf. Let's see if he can get the momentum going and maybe set the benchmark ahead of the 12 car field we have going. Observe for it. Number 64 of the GRC, Cetros Moraitis, is leading the pack with an IY car. I believe it's Lorenzo Adami trailing, and then it's Tobias Theorolf trailing in the slipstream of Lorenzo Adami. If you could even call it that, a gap is starting to form.
Yeah. Actually, one sec. I'll go take him number 2.
Alright, TMI, but anyway. Guess it's just doing me for now. Sartre sets the first purple sector. That's to be expected since it's going to be the first lap time of the session. Any of the cars behind him can easily be cooking something faster, but who knows, maybe he'll be pulling something. Maybe pull the fastest lap. His practice time didn't suggest that. He was over a second off the pace. But maybe this lap time is just what he needs for his GRC teammate to and maybe jump high, inspired Yorkshire in the standings. It's a GRC, IY Racing, and Tugas Racing car. Three cars across the line, a fourth following. Tobias Theorolf is setting another 1:37.3. Not quite as fast as his practice time, but I fear that it's going to be a lot. It's not going to be the last we see out of Tobias as he warms up the hard compound for another flying lap. Lorenzo Adami is now 5/10 off the pace, off of Theorolf's benchmark. Arthur Gras isn't too far off the pace either, 2/10 off his teammate in IY. Andy Darnell is 9/10 off. And Samuel Oliveira, Andy Darnell's teammate, isn't far off either. Soteris Moraitis is in P6 at the minute with a time 1 minute, sorry, I can't read the English right now. 1 second 3/10 off the pace, off the benchmark of Tobias's time. And those are the top 6 times we have right now, the 6 times that we have got out of 12 competitors. We're going to get another wave of the top 3. Maybe they've improved their lap times. Soteris Moraitis has gotten a personal best first 2 sectors. Although he's 8/10 off, looks like he's going to improve the third. He's improved somewhat, but it's not enough to jump him from P6. Samuel Oliveira has managed to sock in a time good enough for P2. He's only 6/10 off of Tobias Theorolf's time now. A little bit scrolly for Soteris Moraitis. Got a little bit too antsy with the track limits there. The clip is a bit too much grass, so might have a bit of a invalidated lap time. Unfortunately, he's going to have to go for another flying lap. Maybe it's a good opportunity to let his tires cool down. The left side tires can get very hot very quickly in this track. So while you have time, I'd say go on cool down laps, and for qualifying it's good that you're able to manage that. Maybe a cool down lap is ideal. If your left sides are getting a bit too hot. First statistic will manage to set his first lap time of the day for P7. 2.5 seconds off the pace, and Michael Valinets comes and sets a lap time good enough for P8. 5.5 seconds off. I'm sure he'll pull something a bit faster off in a second. These first few laps are always a little bit slower. But once you really start getting faster when you start getting into a rhythm. Let's hope Soteris Moraitis has got one now. As he starts his new flying lap. Lorenzo Adami remains P3. He was on for a personal best there in the first 2 sectors, but he threw it away in the last one. George Radistat is now on for his out lap. He's driving as aggressively as he can to try and get his hard compounds heated up. Ricardo Costa's also on the track. He's looking forward to rake in as many points as he can for the Tugas Racing team. And Radistas is round, as last I saw of him. So we have 6.5 minutes left to go of qualifying. Tobias Theorolf has proved that he can set 1 minute 47.1s as a benchmark of pace. We always seem to guess these these one-off wonder drivers who can just live on these combinations and just flip everyone else. But luckily, this doesn't matter as much because this guy hasn't been attending all the races, so he's not going to be able to rake in as much championship points he needs to get that VIP prize. It'll be a nice race win to add to the count. Montoya seems to be on for another personal best and purple lap time session best. In the second sector, he's managed to improve almost 1/10 exactly. And I don't believe it. 146.8. That driver is out of this world, I tell you. Just wait until David gets wind of this, and when he comes back, he'll be speechless. And Ricardo Costa, meanwhile, is at the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of lap time. He's in P7 towards the bottom of the midfield with second 2/10 off of his teammates' time. 2 seconds off of his teammates' time. Four and a half minutes to go, and Fotis Isoglu seems to be on for another personal best. Sets a 148.6 is good enough for P7. He'll be lining up behind his teammates on the fourth row. And unfortunately, it is of great displeasure to announce that David Zankowski has to go off. So, yet again, you're going to have to listen to me and only me this time round. But hopefully he'll stick around and watch the live stream. He's always a nice guy to have around. It's always a good help whenever I'm doing any of these commentaries. Helps me waffle for longer. We have two drivers that still haven't set lap times yet. We've got Timo Reiter and Nicola Cima. Like, if they're not already out on track right now, they might not have another opportunity to set their lap time. So 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Even if people in the pits haven't started their flying laps, such as Timo Reiter and Nicola Cima, if you haven't started now, you won't be able to finish your flying lap. There's simply not enough time to finish the lap. So anyway, George Rallistas on P10, he's managed to keep it on the track, and he's put in a P10, but it looks like he might be able to pull out a little bit of a personal best for himself there. Might be able to jump Mikola Volinets in P9. So this is going to be the last wave of the qualifying laps here today. It's going to be at this race that people are going to start having to pit in and put their fuel back up for the race. Because, trust me, I don't want to run a race on qualifying fuel because you're going to waste time having to be doing a pit stop. So the races to come ahead, we've got race 1 and race 2. It's going to be business as usual for the Evora's 15-minute sprint race up first, and then it's going to be a 25-minute feature with a reverse grid for the top 5, I believe, of the finishers of the race 1. So there you have it. Tobias Tyrrell starts in pole position ahead of Samuel Oliveira, ahead of Lorenzo Adami in 3rd. Arthur Gra is Lorenzo Adami's teammate in 4th. Adi Darnell in 5th. GRC 6th and 7th respectively. And Ricardo Costa's, Tobias Tyrrell's teammate, is in P8 at the opposite end of the spectrum. George Rallistas managed to hit P9 and John Mikola Volinets, and as a result, Volinets is now at the back of the grid from P10 on the fifth row. And now for a 5-minute warm-up. I'd imagine the drivers are gonna want to get their last bit of practice in. I'd imagine that they'd be doing tons of it before. But a little bit more practice wouldn't hurt, especially because of the standing start. You might want to get a few practice starts in without traction control, and make sure you don't spin out and cause a pile up. Like mainly, like you can use any bit of starting performance you can. Especially if you're in the midfield, the start is always a great place to gain positions. Although the race never ends at the first corner though. So don't feel like you have to take people out or anything. I just think of the F4 round and the Super GT round and the DTM 92 round that we've had contact with already, so this will be a fine addition to the collection if people don't cop on, I'd imagine. Might be a bit of contact here and there. So I've got 2.5 minutes left to go. Mind you, this is only going to be a warm-up, just a last-minute tweak of setups and last-minute laps before the race starts. This isn't the actual race itself. But I fear that it's going to look the same as it is now. It's going to be Tobias Tyrrell in a bubble by himself, I'd imagine. So around 1 minute remaining, so this is your last chance to get a beverage of some kind. It's a hot summer's day. I'd definitely want to look into something cold and refreshing. Maybe a beer if you're old enough. I hate being 16. So I apologise for there not being too much commentary. There's not much to commentate on during practice and qualifying. So, or for the warm-up for that matter. But things are about to fire up very shortly, in around 10 seconds time and a bit. We're about to have the race 1 race start. And if I get any deja vu from any of these Zandvoort races, there's going to be some kind of massive pile-up again. But hey, mate, it's the first time for everything, you know? I'm not going to give up hope. Maybe the guys will surprise me. So, I'd imagine down there, beyond the voice chat, people will be wishing each other luck in the text chat, or not. So to reiterate, in terms of the championship standings, we've got IY Racing, which is Lorenzo Adami and Arthur Grant, first place in the team standings. I'll go on about this later. It's going to be lights out. Lorenzo Adami and Tobias Theroff are side by side. They get away equally well. Tobias is on the inside line. The wheel-to-wheel side-by-side is going to be 3 wide into the first set of corners, and then that's the 11 of Ricardo Costa off in P11. One of the IY cars, it's Lorenzo Adami is off. There's a lot of contact there going in. You don't want to be too wide going in there at all. It's an absolute death sentence on this track. What did I tell you? Contact every time. It's like the big one at Daytona. This is horrendous news for the IY cars. We're going to have to target with our way back up the grid now if I want any kind of chance to secure points and stay in the championship. They're in the lead of the championship, but they can't afford to get comfy. Andy Darnell has been gapping Lorenzo Adami and is now chasing Arthur Grau for 3rd place in the last podium position, where he'll join 2-3 with Samuel Oliveira in P2. Tobias Theroff manages to beat Lorenzo Adami off the line and manages to stay where he started, P1. Alright, we're starting to see a single out train of cars begin lap 2. Samuel Oliveira is now chasing down Tobias Theroff. He's 6/10ths off him. He's under a second. Arthur Grau's 2 seconds off Tobias, and Andy Darnell's below 5/10ths behind him. He's right on this bumper. Look at him go. He's waiting for Arthur Grau to make any little mistake. Arthur has been said to hate this car in general. And that is Ricardo Costa, tumbling down the order as he spins in the first sector. Andy Darnell knows that Arthur Grau hates this car and is bound to make a mistake somewhere along the line. He's not going to push too hard. He's going to wait for the right time to strike, to join his teammate on the podium for the feature, not the feature, for the sprint race podium finish. Andy's getting ever so closer. Looks in for it. The inside line is Andy Darnell's. A little bit of contact there. Has to slide back in behind him. He can't afford to lose any more time to Arthur Grau because Lorenzo Adami, Arthur's teammate, is right behind him. They keep tripping each other up like this. He's going to lose a position. Nearly had him there. And you might look into a little bit of slipstream going through the final sector in the final corner. So here comes Tobias Theodoff. He's in first place, and then Samuel Oliveira's hanging back in a cool second place, 1 second behind Tobias Theodoff. He's sticking with him. Side by side into turn 1, Andy Darnell versus Alex Touch, Lorenzo Adami, and oh god. It just doesn't stop. A big turn 1 incident, not in lap 1, but at lap 3 at the beginning, the first corner. Andy Darnell and Lorenzo Adami go side by side. It was an ambitious move by Andy, but it just didn't work out, and unfortunately he managed to collect someone. I didn't catch who, but he's going to be very upset. Lorenzo wasn't too affected. He's still in P3 with Photosystic behind him in P4, and his teammate Sotiris Moreitas in P5 behind him, 2 seconds, almost 3 seconds behind. Andy's back in the fight from the IY cars. He's fighting Arthur Grau for P6. He's had a little bit of contact, but his car doesn't seem too damaged. A little bit of a dented front end, maybe front aero damage. That doesn't stop him. He's going too wide into the final sector. Arthur Grau manages to keep the inside line, and he keeps the position, but what about the exit speed? In the second to last corner, and he doesn't seem to see any opening anywhere. He's going to have to be patient about this now. He doesn't want to make the same mistake twice going into the start-finish straight. Goes a little bit wide off the curb. Makes a little bit of dust. So the top 3 has changed dramatically now. Tobias Theodoff is still in first position. Samuel Oliveira is still in second. But Lorenzo Adami is now in third. He's lost a position from second place. He's managed to get a few positions off the line. I mean, he lost a few actually off the line, but he managed to tiger his way back up into third. Meanwhile, Photosystic and Sotiris Moreitas, P4 and P5 respectively, are managed to rake in excellent points for GRC for the championship, and that's a big sideways drift for the 64 Sotiris Moreitas in P5. There's going to be a car behind him. That's an IY. That's Arthur Grau and Andy Darnell. That was a very big moment for Sotiris, but he managed to keep it, and now he's going to have to defend his position. He's about to lose 2 if he doesn't keep it straight. Those tires have got to be flat spotted now. There's no way they're not. Big smoke coming from that last incident. Arthur Grau is directly on Sotiris' rear bumper. That's a turn. Arthur Grau managed to turn 64. Sotiris Moreitas tumbling down to P7. We've got a big chaos here today. Very big chaos in Lotus Evora. Doesn't seem to hinder Andy Darnell though. He's still hanging the back off of Arthur Graw for P5. He's trying to rake in any championship points he can. Remember, this is a head-to-head battle for the team's championship. Samuel Oliveira is pulling his load. He's in P2 and he's managing to gap Lorenzo Adami, the first IY car, for P2, and now Andy Darnell needs to finish the job and rake in more points than the second IY car, and for that he needs P5. They're bumper to bumper essentially, and he's looking for any little mistake that Arthur is going to make. This has been very close racing, but admittedly very dirty and chaotic here today in Lotus Evora. It's business as usual in Zandvoort. Timo Reiter is still going in P11. He's not given up. We'll have a little bit of an opening here. Andy Darnell trying to get the exit speed, but he just can't make it work. To the left, side by side into the braking zone of third sector. Arthur manages to keep. Here comes Sotiris Moraitis in P8 in the battle for P7 of George Ralistas, fellow Greek driver. Sotiris needs a way past and fast. He makes it quick and easy going onto the start-finish straight. Masterful move. Back up the order. Battle for P5. Andy Darnell is still fighting with Arthur Grubb. Had a little bit of contact here and there. He's even taken out Sotiris Moraitis. I'd imagine that there's going to be a little bit of a Stewart discussion about this later. I'll be involved, so this will be fun to figure out on my end. Unfortunately, Mikola Volinets has DNF'd. Don't know for what reason. Oh, Andy Darnell, he's hung out his tail too much. Spun into the gravel trap in second sector. He's going to have to watch out for the other traffic coming. He needs to get back on the track as fast as he can. Inside line, he might be able to hold off from P7 and P8. Just loses out on Moraitis, but he might be able to defend from Ralistas in the 48, the red car. Andy Darnell is cooked under pressure in Zandvoort tonight. He needs to pick up the pieces and get that P6. This is a dream scenario for Arthur Graw. He now goes towards P5 for his team, unchallenged. This has been rather quiet for Tobias Theorolf. He's in his own little bubble. He's gapping Samuel Oliveira. It's almost 5 seconds to Samuel, and that's a 64. It's a GRC car. Sotiris again. And this third sector. It's not this guy's day, is it now? And something tells me that little kerfuffle with Arthur Graw has something to do with it. Maybe he got damage off that. Whatever happened before, his new incident certainly isn't helping. Fotis Isoglu's had an excellent race story. He's picked up 3 positions. And he's ahead of both of his rival teams. This will be amazing for the championship points side of things. It's not going to be very good for Sotiris. Not very good on Sotiris because he's the other GRC driver at the minute. He's not going to be picking up many points from P9, I'd imagine. Ricardo Costa is in the battle for P7 in the minute. He's fighting George Rallistat. He seems to have a little bit more pace than Rallistat. They're in the third sector now. We're going into the start-finish straight very soon. Ricardo seems to be one of the lucky few with a clean car towards the end of this race. At the beginning of lap 9, it's going to be a 10-lap race. Ricardo Costa is getting the slipstream down the start-finish straight for the battle in P7. As a look inside, by better judgment got him. He keeps his nose clean. He doesn't want to cause any more accidents to this already chaotic race. He's going to stay close. He's going to wait for the right opportunity to rake in that little bit more points. Or not. He's George Rallistas' round on his own accord. These are very tough cars to drive. And that 48 is all the way down. It was a very quiet race after the race start for the top, from the top 4 drivers. Tobias Thierolf has managed to have a very quiet race. He's on his own little bubble for most of the race. In fact, since the race start, actually. Managed to put it around over 6 seconds on Samuel Oliveira. And Lorenzo Adami is around a second and a half behind Samuel Oliveira. I think I might have a little bit of lag here in the stream. Tobias has had a small bit of a connection error for me. Well, I believe I just witnessed a disconnect, a DNF with Tobias Thierolf. His internet connection has failed. Samuel Oliveira leads the race towards the end. And this shifts the points considerably. For PetrolHead SimRacing, it has a win. The winning points in question. In second place, Lorenzo Adami is now in second. Lotus Evora manages to keep it in third. Arthur Gras now bumped up to fourth, and Andy Darnell fifth. And Tobias is now in the Discord, very unhappy. It appears that he has gotten race ruined, in the way he put it. This game is famous for disconnections at the last minute. It's always a big heartbreak when it happens. So anyway, that was a very, well, the start of it anyway was very eventful for the top 3. Very well done to Samuel Oliveira. He wins the sprint race. It's not over yet. It's still a feature race of 25 minutes to go for. As burnouts obscure the vision of the camera. We'll start from this straight. Someone is very happy with themselves. Some people will be happy, others will be particularly, well, the best way to put it would be very angry, to say the least, with some of the contact that has happened this round. Well, Zandvoort is starting to become a meme for, well, this is always some of the messiest races we have in each championship. It's always been like that. except, I mean, this might be even beaten except for maybe Hockenheim, but you know yourself. Anyway, that was very, very upsetting for Tobias Dierolf. Looks like he was set up for domination, but his internet connection said no. So Oliveira first, Adami second, Lotus Evora third. Top 3 spots are taken up by 3 different teams. Now get ready for this reverse grid. This is going to be interesting. So, we got 5 minutes to wait now. Lotus Evora is the first to go out of the pits and practice his race start. So Andy Donnell's in Lotus Evora chat in the Discord. He's saying that was fun. Well, some people will agree with you, Andy, and some people will disagree. Like, some people got did dirty. I mean, such as Lotus Evora there, like towards the end and towards the middle of the race. Actually, he got absolutely humbled by Arthur Grubb. A little bit of dirt on everybody's fenders there. But hopefully people will calm down for the next race start, because it's going to be 25 minutes long, and if you've got the pace, you'll definitely be able to make up some places by then. So I suppose while we still have a little bit of intermission on our hands, I'd love to bring something else to your attention. The first ever community race has been decided. We're going to have a little bit of an oval race, something that's very rare in these communities, especially in Race Room. This isn't particularly an oval sim, but we figured out a way to do it. We're going to be doing an Indianapolis 100 on Friday the 30th of June. It's going to be a 500 VRP prize to the winner. And yeah, it's going to be like the India 500, but well, yeah, practically the Indy 500, but 100, and well, it's going to be 100. It's going to be 100 miles, not 100 laps. It's going to be 40 laps with a rolling start. If you're interested, be sure to have a look into the. You're able to find the details about the SR Leagues link and the Discord. So make sure to join that up if you haven't already, and make sure to hit the like button on the video. Helps us out, you know. So we got 1 minute to 40 seconds to go. 1 minute 30 to go. I think I've said that twice now. Take a shot every time I say 1 minute 30 to go. That's 3 for now. So I'm not really sure about how the math goes for the reverse grid. always forget, but it's going to be very interesting to see how fast Tobias Theorov can make it back to the front. No, hang on, I forgot. Tobias is still gone. He doesn't come back. I'm so used to there being like a one race wonder of a driver, and like expecting them to stay and dominate for the whole thing. But Raceroom said no. Would it be wrong to say that I'm delighted, because this means we'll be able to be commentating for the race win for 3 different drivers for 3 different teams. This will be exciting to watch. So I believe this is going to be the first time in months now that we're going to be commentating for a battle for the win. This is going to be exciting. So grab a snack. Or if you're driving, I wish you very good luck. Alright, so everybody's finishing up with a slight 20-second intermission or less, depending on how quickly people press start the car on their keyboards. It's been a very eventful, to say the least, sprint race, and we're going to be on for one hell of a 3-way battle for the lead here, for the race win. And with no doubt very messy. Lights ahead of the drivers. And let's go for the feature race at Zandvoort. Race 6 of the championship. Mikola Volinets is in first position, followed by Timo Reiter. He's in 3 wide across the start-finish straight. Not too much carnage yet. They managed to keep it very clean. Still 3 wide going into the 4th turn. Starting to single out. People are starting to go on the grass. It's Andy Darnell on the grass in the back. 2 wide into these corners is a death sentence. You're going to have to start singling out soon, or get those moves done very quickly. Timo Reiter, the horseman, is in the lead, followed by Mikola Volinets for Choose Auto Racing, followed by Sotris Moraitis. Lorenzo Adami and Arthur Grod, the I-Way cars, are the first cars to get ahead of the... That is George Radistas falling down the order. The I-Way cars are getting a great start. They're cutting through traffic very fast. Sotris Moraitis takes 2nd place from Mikola Volinets. He's fallen down to P4. Lorenzo Adami is next behind him. There's still 3 wide in places like the 2nd sector coming into the 3rd one. 2 wide going into the 3rd sector. The I-Y cars are starting to pass Mikola Volinets in the 14 Chute Auto Racing car. On the grass a little bit. He's trying to defend all he can. But nobody can stop Lorenzo Adami or Arthur Gra as they hurtle into the top 2 positions. Sotris Moraitis is next on the 77 of Arthur Gra. Samuel Oliveira is starting to lose positions. He's going to have to start picking up the pace soon if he wants to get some more success. He's starting now, P7. Coming into the end of lap 2, Lorenzo Adami goes on the inside of his teammate. The pair of 77s overtake each other. And that's Lorenzo Adami for P3. He's going to be chasing Sotris Moraitis for P2. He's faster than his teammate Arthur Gra. And that is Mikola Volinets. He's missing a bonnet. P8. That front end of the car is ruined. He's still going though, he's not giving up. That's the spirit you like to see in these races. Anything can happen. Nicola Chima's in P6 at the minute, chasing down Samuel Oliveira for P5. And behind him is Lotus Evora in P7. Timo Reiter has managed to keep the car on the track very, very well. He's lapping in pretty quickly. He's managed to keep Sotiris Moraitis at bay for now. Horseman in the lead, followed by Sotiris Moraitis for GRC. Brother Ups in the lead. We've got 21 minutes and a half left on the clock and people are starting to single out already. The top three seem to be semi-locked in. Lorenzo Adami is looking for any way he can around Sotiris Moraitis is starting to trip up. Very excellent defending from the Greek. Going into the start-finish straight now. The exit speed is going to be crucial. Makes you think if he's going to pop out to the left. Yes, he will. He's going to try it down the inside. That's very quick. He's managed to put it in there. They're still side by side. Sotiris has a little bit of contact with Arthur Gra, but Arthur has managed to make it work. No, that's Adami actually, sorry. Arthur Gra's behind him though. He's looking to follow his teammates back into the podium spots. Sotiris wants to do anything he can to get his points for GRC. He wants to keep his team in the championship in the running for 500 VRP. Timo Reiter has managed to keep Lorenzo Adami, or everyone else before him, away from the first spot. He's doing an excellent job. People behind him are tripping each other up very much. They're starting to slow down a little bit. And Lorenzo Adami is free at the midfield. That's a spin. Samuel Oliveira's round. That's the end. That's the end of it for PetrolHead SimRacing. Podium hopes. He's all the way down the order. I'm not sure what happened there. He might have spun on his own accord. Flipped the curb a little bit too much. That's the end of it for PetrolHead SimRacing's podium hopes for tonight. And then there were two, GRC versus IY Racing now. Sotiris Moraitis has conceded third position to Arthur Gra, and now he's going to try to bring home P4 solid points for GRC. Half a second back is Timo Reiter as main adversary for now, Lorenzo Adami. Adami wants this win for IY Racing, but Timo isn't going to give that up without a fight. With the magic of reverse grid, he's now up there, and all he has to do is defend from the hungry beasts behind him in the 77. 3/10 separate the two cars fighting for the lead. Arthur Gra is starting to drop back a little bit. He's 2 seconds off his teammate. In this car, all you have to do is keep it smooth. It has no patience for any overdriving. If you poke it the wrong way, it will spin. Well, that's it. The side-by-side, Timo Reiter's in second place, side-by-side with Lorenzo Adami. He's on the inside line of the next corner. He keeps his car safe. He just doesn't want to challenge that going into the last sector. He's got more exit speed, though. Look at him carry the speed. He's going to have to keep it consistent. Gra's behind him. That's Timo, who's round. No. Timo was doing so well for Brother Ups, but one spin is all it takes. his podium chance is fading away. He can't get the car out of the barrier fast enough. That's very unfortunate. He's still in it though. He's managed to keep it ahead of Nikola Volinets. He might be able to catch Darnell though in the later stages of the race. You've got 17 minutes to go. We've got Lotus Evora in 5th position for GRC. We've got solid midfield points for the Greek team. But solid midfield points isn't going to be enough to keep them running for the championship. He's going to have to start pulling out better results than that, because it's going to, by the way it looks right now, it's going to be an Aspired Yorkshire 1-2 with Lorenzo leading Arthur Graw home in 1st and 2nd. So now, Lotus Evora in P5. He's going to have to look at getting Nikola Chima out of the way in P4. It's only a matter of time before Nikola starts to fall back from P4 and more slither back into the midfield. We're starting to see some big gaps forming. Lorenzo Adami and his teammate Arthur Graw are 1.5 seconds apart. Soteris Moraitis, next car, and 3rd is now around 2.5 seconds off for Arthur Graw. Nikola Chima's over 10 seconds. Is around over 5 seconds off of the next car in P3. And he's got Lotus Evora behind him in P5. He's building up some time on him. He's going to have to keep driving hard though, not to catch Nikola Chima, but to keep Samuel Oliveira behind. He was robbed at this race start. Something happened, and he needs to desperately make up points if he wants to have any kind of chance at the VRP prize to keep his PetrolHead division in running. 14.5 minutes to go. We've got Lorenzo Adami leading ahead of Arthur Graw. It's an IY 1-2. Soteris Moraitis in P3 for GRC, I believe, and Nikola Chima in 4th. Lotus Evora is in P5, chasing down Nikola Chima valiantly, and Samuel Oliveira is behind Lotus in P6, who looks like he's going to have a look in the move soon. Lotus needs to pick up the pace. Behind Samuel, some 10 seconds behind him is Andy Darnell in P7 at the minute. Something happened at the race start. He's got a slow car. Behind him is Timo Reiter. He started in the lead, but unfortunately he was after spinning it towards the end of the lap. Lap 5, I believe it was. But now he's salvaging what he can out of the race. He's passed 2 cars, and Andy Darnell seems to be next in the damaged GT4. Samuel Oliveira is looking for any kind of grip or any alternative line. He's took that corner very wide to try and get anything out of Lotus Evora. They're very close together, those two, for the battle for P5. I wouldn't try to move there, that's very dangerous. It doesn't work. They managed to keep it clean so far. They're still bumper to bumper. Samuel Oliveira is determined to get past the GRC driver in front of him in the 64. A little bit of a bumper collision. Nikola Chima is slow. He's in P6 now. He's just conceded 2 positions to the cars that were spectating at the minute. Samuel Oliveira is going in on the outside of the next corner into the third sector. Could this be? He manages to make it through. He's in P4 at the minute. Fotis is going to have a look in the inside line. He's going to be on the outside now, coming into the second to last corner. He's going to be fighting Nicola Chima now. He's got an excellent exit. Came back and slingshot in the 11. Fotis needs to get past Nicola Chima as fast as he can. Samuel Oliveira is going to get away now. It's already made approximately a second and a half in Fotis. Over a second and a half in Fotis from that one corner alone. All it takes is one slip up and you can lose many positions from it. As we have seen demonstrated several times this race weekend. Timo Rator is still in it. He's in 8th position out of 10. He's managed to outlive 2 cars and he's ahead of 2 more. Andy Darnell's starting to have problems with this car, so maybe he can catch him too. It'll be a spectacular recovery drive for the German. It's a shame that David isn't here. I'd love to hear his opinion on this. Oh, that's an 11. That might be Nicola Chima. He caught Fotis Isoglu. Fotis Isoglu has managed to go off. He's got collected by Nicola Chima. He saw that. That's the 11 car right there. He got passed by Samuel Oliveira. No, that's not Samuel. That's Andy. That's Andy Darnell, actually. That's for P6 now. Nicola's had a very bad time. Fotis got caught up in that. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is very messy. Indeed. This is a dream situation for the IY cars in front. They can use any little bit of time that they can get. They're taking and profiting off of all of the slowdowns that everyone else has been having, and they're building their race lead and their championship lead as a result. According to my math, they're going to be getting 70 points off of this race. This is going to be huge compared to what the competitors have, because such as GRC and PetrolHead SimRacing's division. But now this is starting to single out very, very big. Not too much action now. It's just people have to keep it consistent now for these final 8 minutes of the race on the clock. Timo Rator has managed to pass Nicola Chima back there. He's now in P7 out of P10, with Andy Darnell 6 seconds ahead of him. I've had a bit of a moment. Timo Rator has managed he's had a small bit of a slip up. He's lost a few positions, but he can make that back up easily in these last 8 minutes of the race. Ahead of him is Nicola Chima and George Radestas. Should be easy pickings for the German. So this is going to be the battle for P7, a three-way one at that. Nicola Chima's on the inside, manages to come out in front in 7th place. Timo Reiter has managed to get the exit speed he needed to get past his teammate. Now he needs to chase down that 11 for P7. He's got it in him. Experimenting with the wider line there, getting the traction he needs. Aristas has a small bit of a moment, hugging the inside line. Doesn't quite work out for him. He doesn't have enough exit speed to keep the move going on Timo Reiter. It'd be catastrophe if they collided now. They're teammates. Arthur Braun has been inching a little bit closer to his teammate. Used to be several seconds, but now he's keeping it under a second now, because he starts lap 12 of this 25-minute race. Sotras Meritus for GRC has managed to keep it in the podium positions, ahead of Samuel Oliveira in P4. Samuel's had a few moments this race, but it's a long race and he managed to tiger his way back up. He's had the time to do so. Timo's getting closer to Nicola Shima in P7. He's managed to outrun his teammate George Rallistas. And now Nicola Shima is next. And that's just one spin after another for Timo Reiter. It's very, very upsetting. I can't imagine to think of what he must be feeling right now. He has to get back on the track as fast as he can. It's bringing back memories of when that used to happen to me in karting. Like, no matter if it's on the sim, like the cars might not be real, but the racing is, and the pressure can cook you into making a mistake. It happens to everyone. Samuel Oliveira gets very sideways there, but manages to keep it. Samuel Oliveira's driving style seems to complement the Evora very, very well. He looks like he's getting sideways on camera, but he's keeping the fine line of grip, and he's almost looks like he's spinning the car to get it to turn in, but it never actually spins. He's actually keeping it. Samuel is very well known for such a driving style, but it's never worked that well for him outside of Group 5 until now. P4 it's got him. So things have calmed down very, very much. Well, no, they haven't. There's a battle for P3. I've dozed off a little bit in the final 2 minutes. There's a battle for P3 between Samuel Oliveira for PetrolHead and Sotiris Maritas for GRC. Both teams need as many points as they can get in their team's championship to try keep their teams in contention, especially after the 1-2 that IY are after getting. It's anyone's game for P3. Samuel Oliveira and the car without a number, actually, it's very ironic, versus Sotiris Maritas in the GRC car. They're starting to have a go at each other. It's almost side by side there. Samuel's trying to get a very wide line to try to get traction, but he goes too wide and it doesn't work out that well for him. But he's staying there. He's braking later than Sotiris there. He's managed to... Oh, there might be a little bit of a tap of the bumper there. Getting very... starting to get a little bit of contact. Samuel's impatient, and we all know what happens when he gets impatient. Side by side. Small taps, that could have been much, much worse. I haven't seen it yet. Samuel emerges in third place in the start-finish straight. As here comes Sotiris Maritas. He's on the slipstream. Left, right. He's trying to break the slipstream. Sotiris on the outside. Takes to the grass on the inside of the curve in turn 1. He loses a little bit of time, but he's sticking with him. We've got 1 lap left to prove that he's got the pace to take third position for GRC. So anyway, for first and second, Arthur Gra has managed to stay relatively close to Lorenzo Adami. They're matching their lap times. The gap hasn't changed much. But if Lorenzo to make a mistake now would be granting Arthur Gra the win. I mean, last time I checked, Arthur Gra hated this car. How is he up there? Must have found a new liking to it, I'd imagine, after 6 races. Very unfortunate for Sotiris Maritas. He's managed to drop back from P3. It's been a long 25 minutes, but it has sure been eventful. Lorenzo Adami takes his second win of the day and wins the feature race at Zandvoort after much collision and much chaos. He stands out on top, king of the hill. Samuel Oliveira takes third position from Sotiris Maritas late in the race in an exhilarating overtake and a masterful showing of car control. It's a 4-5 finish for Sotiris Maritas and Fotis Isoglu for GRC. Solid midfield points. They should be in contention for the championship for the races coming. 1-2 for Inspired Yorkshire. Very well done to the top 2. Andy Arnell finishes in P6. He was at the back at one point, but he manages to make up a few positions here and there. Nicola Chima comes home in P7. After a late race spin, he manages to pick up the pieces and call it a solid, well, I would say solid, but it's not much of a point. So it sounds nice. Solid P7 finish. And that's Reiter relishing in his P9. He had the win on his plate today. Just wasn't up to... He is cooked under pressure like anyone else would in this situation. The reverse grids are very good at giving other drivers a chance at the race win, like by putting them in the front, because all they have to do is defend and they've got to win. You know what? I think I actually found myself in the exact same shoes as Timo Reiter once in this race. It was back in Super GT. I had a podium on my hands in the GT3 category. I was starting out, driving for the community, and like 2 laps from the finish, I just lost it all. One mistake is all it takes, and that just goes to show the kind of mentality you have to go into these races with. But anyway, that was a very exhilarating race. It was going to be a 3-way battle for the race win, but it turned into a very one-sided domination by Inspired Yorkshire. And shout out to Michael Avelinietz for running my team with a single car. The GOAT. Well, that's all for tonight. Be sure to be here for the 30th of June for the Indy 100, sponsored by PetrolHead SimRacing. If you'd like to join any of the events, it's free to enter. And by that, I mean, by free to enter, I especially mean that you have to buy the content first, such as the cars we're driving, but of course, I'm just waffling now. I'm pretty sure that you'd like to go and attend something else. So thank you for spending your time here at today's live stream. I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe to the PetrolHead's YouTube channel. Alright. And shout out once again to Timo Reiter, the spinning horseman. Although, like, that's the way he coined it. I'm not taking the piss on him or anything. But anyway, that's it for tonight. Thank you. Goodbye and stuff.